Hi, this is Annie Grace, and I'm here with Scott, head naked wine coach.
How's it going?
And we have a question today from a woman. Her name, we're going to call her Nancy. And Nancy says, "Hi, I'm writing you on the morning after my first sober Christmas. Thanks to you. I purchased your video program last winter, never made it all the way through, but it was perfect timing this month though, because I just finished day 28 of the program this morning, and what a gift. Anyway, I'm feeling strong and empowered around every area of my life that will soon be improved. But I do have one topic that I'd love to hear your thoughts on: dating. Looking back, I've never dated someone or started a relationship without the presence of alcohol. Based on some of my choices, I can't help but wonder if I ever would have dated some of these people had I been getting to know them through a sober lens. But now I have a bit of anxiety telling prospective dates that I don't drink. And moreover, I have a sneaky suspicion that a wonderful opportunity awaits me, a true, real, clear connection with someone for the first time. But allowing myself to be so vulnerable for that something very special is scary. Can you offer any inspiring stories on people who have connected in this most authentic way as a result of getting sober? And in general, can you give me tips for alcohol-free dating? Because it's a hurdle I don't know that I can get over at this point. Sending you my deepest gratitude, respect, and friendship." That's awesome, Nancy. So Scott, do you want to dig in and then I'll chime in?
Yes, this is one of my favorite topics: relationships and being alcohol free. So, we all have a lot of different experiences. We might have relationships that are built at the bar. And it might feel like, man, if I pull that out from underneath me, what is going to happen, right? It's amazing. So relationships are much better, much clearer, and much more connected when alcohol's not involved. Now, that sounds really good. The problem is we all know that alcohol is really sort of embedded in our society and our culture and everything else. And so the idea of this concern, right? The idea of like, oh man, what is someone going to think about me if I tell them I don't drink? Like, are they going to want to hang out with me? Are they going to want to continue to interact? That's a real fear. And I completely understand that. But here's the bottom line, which I think is, kind of shortcuts a lot of the whole thing, which is, if you go on a date with someone and you tell them you don't drink and they don't like that, there's a lot of other people to date. It's that simple. It's funny. I was married when I quit, but I can say that my relationship with my wife has gotten significantly better. I mean, it's crazy. We'd only been married about 2 years, well, not even, whatever, about 2 years when I quit. But in the last 3 years since I quit, it's just, I can't even compare it. It's just so much different. So yes, obviously it's scary, and jumping in there and telling people, hey, I don't drink, that can make you feel vulnerable. But it also puts you outside of your comfort zone, which is where growth happens. So my advice to you is be out there with it, be open with it, recognize that different people are going to react differently, but you will find people who are going to say, man, that's really cool. Well, I like that. It's received much better than I think a lot of us fear it is.
And I think that, to piggyback on one of those ideas is that this is a skill. It's not, socializing is a skill. Conversation is a skill. Dating is a skill. We have this false belief that we should just be really good at these things right out of the gate for some crazy reason. And if we're not, or maybe we think that because we're drinking, we don't really remember as well, or because we've numbed our senses a little bit, that we think, oh, that was the key, and I'm good at that with alcohol, but I'm not good at that otherwise. So many independent studies have shown that while we think we're funnier when we're drinking, we're actually not as funny. While we think we're more personable when we're drinking, we're actually not as personable. While we think that we're doing and saying things, and because we don't have necessarily the inhibitions or the ability neurochemically or cognitively to actually understand what's really happening or going on, and because, by the way, the people we're with are also drinking, we let all this stuff slide that we wouldn't normally slide. You said something about you might not have dated certain people. Your standards might be higher. Guess what? When it comes to dating, the reason we date is because we want to find that special someone, because we want to ultimately spend our lives with someone and not alone. And yeah, certainly people can date for different reasons than that, but I'm guessing based on your email that that's the reason that you're dating. And so having this filter is a huge blessing. It's such a cool thing. And it's going to have the added benefit of allowing you to build the skill of conversation, to build the skill of humor, to build the skill of small talk, to build the skill of interacting. And by the way, to build the skill of ducking out when your totally authentic self knows in the early days that this just isn't the person, because your ability, your spidey sense, if you will, to know that yes, you're connecting with this person on a really heartfelt, compassionate level, or no, you're not, is going to come up much, much sooner than it ever would have if you were drinking and numbing your ability to just read people and understand people. And so you're going to save yourself so much heartache and allow yourself to build really good skills around this.
Yeah, it's not going to be masked, right? It's not going to be, through rosé colored lenses. That's pretty clever, I think. It's going to be real and raw. And I'll tell you another thing that happens too, which is really interesting. This is in dating situations, also in friend situations. When you tell people you don't drink, people don't get, we're all afraid that they're going to get very much like, oh, okay, see you later, right? More often than not, when I tell people I don't drink, it goes the other way. It goes into curiosity. It goes into, so tell me, how'd you do that? Like, why did you do that? Right? They lean in, they want to talk to you about it more. So it can be very engaging. But ultimately, I think the bottom line is that, the connection really comes without the alcohol. And so if you can start there, to Annie's point, if you can start there and you can have those conversations, you're going to get to that point sooner where wow, this could be something, right? Instead of those people you said that you probably wouldn't have dated, which, I don't know how long you dated them, but for a lot of us, and, me certainly in the past, things went on a lot longer than they had to, because I wasn't fully there, because I wasn't fully present.
And I think we should talk about one more thing while we're on the topic, and that's just, sex and alcohol. And I certainly was one who decided, well, okay, I'm just going to need a glass of wine or two. And it was funny because I didn't really drink. Even on my wedding night, I didn't really drink. But then as things went over time, I somehow invented this idea that I needed sex to loosen, or wine to loosen up for sex. And it became really habitual. And so fast forward a decade, when I decided to stop drinking, I was terrified of sober sex. I was like, how is this going to be? How's this going to go? How am I ever going to get in the mood? And the truth is that, I don't know about every man, but my husband definitely likes it better when I'm not drunk, like 100 times better. And so when I get over my own insecurities, it's better. And then physically and personally, when you get over it, it is really better. And there's all these scientific reasons why, but alcohol actually deadens your senses in a really real way. It deadens your taste buds. You can't taste as well. You can't actually enjoy food as well. It deadens, like, the biggest organ you have on your body is your skin, and you can't feel things as well. So it deadens your ability to feel and touch and smell. And all of these things that are really vital to the entire experience, you can't feel them as well. And so it's so surprising to people. In the early days of writing my book, I put out like a survey just about this. And I was like, hey guys, what do you think about, I want some like responses about sober sex. And across the board, and this was all from women, it was like, oh my gosh, I didn't know what I was missing. Holy cow. It's absolutely incredible. I actually, in my new book, I have a complete chapter. I forget what day it is, but in the new book, The Alcohol Experiment, I have an entire chapter dedicated to this topic. Let's talk about sex. Day 13 of The Alcohol Experiment is all about let's talk about sex, because it is just such a vital and important topic. And I dig into all the science behind why sex is truly, truly, without a doubt, better without alcohol.
So, so I can give you the guy perspective. So besides from the, I won't say anything I shouldn't on here, but besides some of the performance issues with nicknames that we all know of, it is so much better. It's so much better from a guy's perspective for a few reasons. First of all, a lot of guys struggle with insecurity, right? Insecurity around, their bodies, insecurity around performance, insecurity around their connection. And at first that stuff seems way scarier. And so the idea is I'm going to have a few drinks. I'm going to cut through that. But when you do that, you lose that connection. Right? You lose that actual give and take that makes it such a special experience. And so, yes, without it, it's a little bit scary, but as you become vulnerable, right? As you kind of put yourself out there, you begin to realize it is so much better. And I can 100% agree that being with someone who isn't drinking is a much more enjoyable experience, especially if you're not drinking. So it is scary, And it is something that we hear a lot about, but it is also something that, you know, you need to kind of open up and be vulnerable to experience. And once you do, and this is unanimous, I don't think I've heard anyone tell me yet that they prefer drunk sex. I've heard this from all walks of life, all different ages, men, women, everyone, that it is significantly better.
But it's a huge, huge, important topic. So thank you so much, Nancy, for bringing it up, for having the courage to ask. And I'm really looking forward to, everything that lies in store for you on the other side of this, because I do think that your connections, your intimacy, all the things are going to be so much better than you can imagine when you have removed alcohol from the equation.